Hey there, it's Dr. David Green, founder and CEO of R3 Stem Cell, and I'm here today with Mandy. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yes, happy to be here.
Thanks. Can you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you.
So my name is Mandy H. I'm from Salina, Tennessee, a really rural area. Been a nurse practitioner for several years, but biggest thing was diagnosed with MS in 2014.
All right, so it's been over 10 years since you got
Yes.
the diagnosis.
Yes, so over that span, tried multiple different medications.
PO, IM. One of the most invasive ones was Limtrada, which is kind of like a chemotherapy drug. So that was over a 2-year course. Completely wipes out your immune system. You start to rebuild, and then you hit it again, and then a year later.
What did you notice as far as the issues that led to you being diagnosed with MS?
Yeah, so I had
Horrific headaches, and then left eye pain. The only relief I got was if I pushed on my eyeball. So I went to the eye doctor thinking, you know, I'm getting a little older, maybe it's just my vision and that's what's causing the headaches. And the ophthalmologist actually looked at it and saw that my optic nerve was inflamed, and he said, I'm 99% sure you have MS. You need to see a neurologist. Okay. So I was diagnosed on an eye exam.
I developed a tremor that I couldn't control.
Okay.
So I couldn't do sutures, I couldn't do procedures, I couldn't hide it from people.
Right.
Any fine motor skills, it got worse.
To 2018, when we actually started treatment, it had doubled in the amount of lesions, increased in size, and had actually started on the cervical spinal cord.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we
Hence
were
the coordination,
yes,
tremor
that I couldn't fix. And halfway through 2018, had to be hospitalized. I got to where I couldn't stand on my own. Like, wasn't able to really move my legs much. But steroids again, you know, and then he was at the point, like, I think this is your only option, is let's try Limtrada. We'll say within an hour of that medicine running in, I felt like somebody broke every bone in my body at one time.
Wow.
So by 3 months into it, I had horrific psoriatic arthritis over every toe on both feet. To the point that I couldn't wear socks and tennis shoes, like flip-flops or whatever would barely touch in between my toes, like I couldn't stand it. The brain fog was there, like I remember completely breaking down because I couldn't remember a test to order on a diabetic patient. And I just told the doctor, I was like, look, I can't risk a patient's life. Like I can't do this, no matter how much I need to work financially or emotionally, mentally, I can't do it.
Let me just see if I got this straight. You went through severe chemo-style treatment 2 years in a row to try and control your MS. Not only did it fail, but you ended up with optic neuritis, psoriatic arthritis, brain fog.
Actually, when the optical neuritis hit in both of them, I had a new lesion develop on the left temporal lobe, and so I developed left temporal lobe seizures. In November of 22, I had to have my complete large intestine removed and have an ileostomy.
As a result
of the bowel just not functioning due to like nerves. There was no peristalsis left of it. I'd finally come off from those and kept telling my neurologist, like, I can't walk. Like, the spasticity is so bad, and I could take all the muscle relaxers that you want to keep throwing at me, but it's not stopping it. It's not helping it. I've done stretches. I've done your yoga. I've done all of these things, and I take 10 steps and everything freezes up, and I can't control my legs anymore. And so his only option was another round of the Limtrada.
That was the only option?
Yeah.
The treatment that had failed you twice?
Yes. And I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like, I want stem cells. And he was like, I can't give you those either.
Yeah, I mean, if traditional treatment, and it has its limits, especially with a disease that is so difficult, you know, such as MS, at that point, I think most people would understand that you wanted to try something alternative. So how did then that lead to you finding R3?
When I actually called and they done the consultation with her, it was wonderful. So normally it's like, your 30-minute consultation, and then she's like, okay, now this consultation's over with, let's just talk. And so I think we were on the phone forever afterwards. But again, before I ever found R3, like I said, there was one other that was more athletes, joints, that sort of thing. And the only other one that was even comparable, and I say that lightly, it was like a 2-week protocol, more of you get all of these other things that had no scientific backing to it whatsoever. And I was like, why am I going to pay you $40,000 when what I really need from you I'm only going to get on days 1 and 2, and then the next 2 weeks is fluff.
That's the exact term that I use with a lot of these competitors who bump up the fees, and they add in all these modalities that don't have any scientific background or peer-reviewed evidence to showcase, benefit. So I agree with you completely on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so talked to Dr. Worthington. We kind of went over everything.
The day that I come in here, that Saturday, I could make, literally we counted 10 steps. And by the time that 10th step, I would start to feel like a boa constrictor going around my waist.
Oh, jeez.
And so they talk about the MS hug, and I said, people that know what that is, it feels like a life jacket that's just tightening and tightening and tightening, and you cannot expand. There was one other patient that was here, but lots of care, lots of empathy, not just sympathy, empathy. She understood that, I was at my wit's end and like what I really wanted. And that's one thing that we talked about. It was like, I know there's not a cure, but I have a child at home, and I know if the rest of the cord goes, what happens, and I just, I don't want to run a marathon again. I've done that before. I want to be able to go to the grocery store. I want to be able to cook supper with my family. I want to be able to hug my daughter. I want to be able to see her graduate or get married. And at this rate, I'm not going to get there, and so we got discussed different options and different things that we could do. And so that day I got IV stem cells, and then we done intranasal. And I left, and Monday I could walk 50 feet before the boa constrictor started. And by Friday, we didn't even count anymore.
Is that right?
Yes.
So it was quick.
It was quick, far as the spasticity. A side thing during that time was the Cushing's had some effect on my heart. So I'd had some congestive heart failure, an echo that had some abnormalities. But 3 months after coming over that and getting the stem cells, my echo was completely normal.
It was clean. Okay.
It was clean, completely normal. Cardiology says you don't even have to come back.
There, by 2 weeks, I had absolutely no lesions on my feet whatsoever. No plaque lesions, psoriatic arthritis. Yeah. And that was shocking. That was the thing that I was not expecting. Yes, I list that, and yes, it's an issue, but that wasn't my primary goal in that. But at the 2-week mark, they were completely gone. At the end of the first month, like I said, I was able to walk around my house. I could get to the bathroom, do things, around there. Every morning, like my fingers and hands are usually swollen and hard to bend, and I could just bend on one morning. Woke up and was like, wait a minute, did I just do that? Like I actually had to go down a size in my wedding ring because the swelling had went down. At the 6-month mark was when I told my husband that, hey, I want to try to go back to work a little bit.
So 6 months after treatment of almost being in a wheelchair,
Yes.
and I would say that's, you might not agree with me, but I would say that's about where you were rock bottom.
Yes. I mean, my primary
Traditional-
care told me that he didn't, at that point, wouldn't have gave me 3 more months to live.
To live?
Yes.
Holy
At the
cow.
way when
How old is your child?
So she just turned 18 this past August.
Okay.
So, she was in that 16, 17-year-old, and,
Thing that I told Dr. Worthington, it was like, I just want to see her graduate. I want to see her graduate high school. When you ask me what do I want and if I can accomplish from this, I want to see her graduate.
Is she a senior now, or did she graduate?
She graduated. She actually started college the first, August the 25th.
first day.
Wow.
So, yes.
That's great.
it's been great. And since like pressure, when people have a hold of me better, and I can detect hot and cold a little bit better. So those are added benefits. But you know, we went in spring break. We went to Walt Disney World and Universal and walked around. You know, something that I didn't think I would ever get back to. And then you know, so it's been wonderful.
What would you say to others who, and I know there's plenty of them out there, who are experiencing various grades of MS, who are not getting the results with traditional medicines that they desire?
I've told multiple people, the moment you get the diagnosis, you need to go and get stem cells. Plain and simple. And even working in healthcare, and people are like, how can you, do you really not think? No, because any medication that has ever been made for MS is not to repair the myelin.
Right.
Okay? It's not, it's to maybe halt or slow progression, but none of it stop it, right? And what you will pay for this is a fraction of what you will waste your time, money, and life on.
When you look at, you got this treatment and it's really done wonders for you, if 100% was your wildest expectations, what percentage would you say you achieved from the treatment?
Oh wow, I would say over 75 to 85, honestly. You know, because of 100%, it would be like everything's healed and I have
Right.
everything back.
Right.
A huge reduction in pain. That was one thing. Like when I came in here, I think I was on 14 different medications. Okay, I'm on a thyroid medicine. I have to have my thyroid removed, so that's never going to change. And then the hydrocortisone. But other than that, I only have 2 other medicines that I take on a regular basis.
So you got rid of 10 medications?
No seizure medications. I've not had them in over a year. But actually not taken any biological medication since then.
Okay. So you had this treatment. It's been 15, 16 months. I know that you recently started talking to Dr. Worthington about potentially getting a repeat, because as anyone in regenerative medicine knows, it's not a cure, and there is going to be a need for an eventual repeat. But you're back at work. You were able to see your daughter graduate.
Yes.
It sounds from speaking to you that it's just a much more positive existence.
Oh yes, much better.
So what's next for you?
So I'm hoping to, like I said, I think another round.
Just to help maintain, if nothing else. To me, this is a much safer and healthier option than any biologic that's out there. I'm hoping to get back to work a little bit more. My daughter wants to travel, help her through college. She's a history major, so she wants to go and see, all the museums and all the architectural stuff.
I mean, it's a very heartwarming story. It kind of starts to bring tears to your eyes because, we all had high expectations when Dr. Worthington consulted with you, and here we are, and we've been able to see your progression back to, living the life that you were meant to do.
Yeah.
And I think having you in the field of regenerative medicine is going to be that much more fulfilling.
And her and I have talked back and forth, but I guess it was 2 weeks ago when I walked in was the first time I'd actually saw her in person since I'd had treatment. We communicated back and forth on the phone, how are you doing, and things like that.
But she kind of stopped, and I didn't say anything at first and just looked at her, and she was like, Mandy, and I was like, yeah, and she's like, let me hug you, and I was like, totally not what she, a complete 180 from what she had saw 14 months ago.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you spending some time with me.
Thank you.
Such a heartwarming story, and I think you'll be a beacon of hope for so many suffering from MS, around the world. We do a lot of treatments, but to hear it from someone who's been through it, to hear their whole story is not just fascinating, but really an eye-opener for so many people. Thank you.
Oh,
Especially for you to see, like, you've been in this field and working at this for 14 years. And, you know, for you to see that all your hard work has paid off and made a difference in somebody else's life.
Well, thanks.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Mandy.
Welcome.
Oh, thanks
Because
so
I
much.
definitely would not be here in this capacity right now had I not got treatment then.
Yeah, great to hear.
Yeah.